The funding for this video is provided by the amazing members of our Patreon. Also contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. Y'all started from PBS Kids, what you gonna do? Fight me? Anyway, roll the video. Cassie Howard stands are not welcome here. Bye. Goodbye. No. Hey y'all, it's Harriyanna and I'm back with another video. Hi, hello, how are y'all doing? My name is Harriyanna and welcome to, or you've been here before, welcome back to the pirate ship, also known as Harry Hook's pirate ship. I am the captain, you were not my first mate, and I got no first mate because you want to know why? I let everyone in on a little secret when they come over here. Nobody is worthy of being the first mate. Hey, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my hair. I don't know, do I want it on both sides? Do I want it on one side? I don't freaking know, okay? If you're new and this is your first time ever seeing me, hi, my name is Harriyanna and I like to make content based off nostalgia and family and children's entertainment and all the issues that I found within those spaces. Now, sometimes I talk about some things that are current, like current adult stuff, but it's not often. So when I talk about current adult things, don't expect me to do that all the time. Now today's video is one that I honestly have just been wanting to cook up for a minute because I am so sick of the white woman tears. I am just tired of it, and I'm just gonna sit here and explain to you guys what exactly white woman tears is, okay? We all gotta take it all the way back to elementary school. I don't know what elementary school is called in other countries, but in America it's called elementary school. It's basically ages like 4 to 11, that age range, okay? So in the past, way back when, in elementary school, when they teach us about history and they teach us about the people that are involved in history, 9 times out of 10, the people we are learning about are usually white men. Okay, white men. Sometimes we learn about white women also, but for the most part, most of the people we learn about are white men. No matter if it's the good, the bad, or the ugly, white men are the people that are being talked about the most. And when we do learn about white women, they are always portrayed as kind and sweet, and they never want to acknowledge any wrong that they do. When we learn about white women in history, we just see them as good people. We don't learn about any bad white women for the most part. That is why more people are likely to know the name of a white slave owner who is a man than a white slave owner who is a woman, okay? It just all comes back to our history classes too. It's not even just in elementary school. It's like this in middle school and in high school. People don't want to ever bring up how a lot of these first ladies are just as bad as their husbands. Oh, Thomas Jefferson. And it's not even really just learning about this history in school. When you watch the Travel Channel, when you watch the History Channel, when they do bring up white women, it most of the time is portraying them in a positive light. I'm pretty sure the only white woman from the past that we have learned about in a negative light would have to be Lizzie Borden. And then they still found ways to defend her for what she had done. We gonna get there. If you don't know who Lizzie Borden is, basically she was a white woman who killed her father and her stepmother, and she got off because people could not believe that she did it because they thought she was too innocent. We gonna get there. When white women are brought up for their crimes, it is not usually brought up as often as white men. They are not brought up as often as white men, but they too have done just as, if not worse, terrible things than them too. Okay, for example, when you go back and find out about Ruby Bridges' story, when you look at all the footage of those people that were tormenting her, look at that and you will see a good chunk of those people that were harassing her were white women. Do y'all really think it was only white men under them KKK masks? It was not. There were plenty of white women in the KKK, okay? And to the point where people didn't want to believe that white women were in the KKK, there is a whole Wikipedia article about it. A white woman ended up costing Emmett Till his life, okay? She lied on him. This woman basically cried wolf, and nobody wanted to sit there and believe the child of color. They thought that, oh, white woman can do no wrong. She's telling the truth. Why would she lie? And then they murdered him. Murdered an innocent child because of some white women tears. Lenny freaking Snaw. literally is a whole Nazi, and people will excuse that part of her because she's talented. And by the way, me highlighting all the wrong that white women have done is not racist. It is not racist to call white people out when they are wrong. Please understand that. From such a young age, women of color, girls of color specifically, are already seen as less innocent than white women. This is called adultification, and it affects black women heavily. I literally had made an entire video about adultification, but it has literally been proven numerous times, along with adultification, that people associate crime and evil and bad things with people of darker skin, okay? Do I need to bring up the doll test? Do I need to bring up all those studies and whatnot? I will. I'll put some inserts in here and whatnot, since y'all be telling me I be making up shit and I really don't. A lot of the shit that I be talking about, y'all can Google. Although psychologists have known for a long time that people associate dark skin with negative personality traits, this research shows that reverse is also true. When we hear about an evil act, we are more likely to believe it was done by someone with darker skin. This bad is black effect may have its roots in our deep-seated human tendency to associate darkness with nakedness. Across time and cultures, we tend to portray villains as more likely to be active during nighttime and to don black clothing. Similarly, I probably said that wrong, who cares? Our heroes are more associated with daytime and lighter colors. These mental associations between color and morality may negatively bias us against people with darker skin tones. If this is true, it has far-reaching implications for our justice system. For example, eyewitnesses to crimes may more likely to falsely identify suspects who possess darker skin. As I said numerous times, it is colorism, but it also is racial bias, because many people in this world since forever, since slavery, they associate people with darker skin with being more dangerous, okay? And people with lighter skin as more innocent. I don't care what nobody says, but all white people are light skinned. None of them are my color, and I'm not even dark skinned. And sadly, this is now a part of American history. I hate bringing up this family on this channel. I cannot escape them for nothing, okay? They literally are on Disney Plus now. Okay, but I have to bring her up. Miss Kim Kardashian, okay? I can't stand the Kardashians. I try to talk about them as least as I can on this channel, but this right here is great information for people who knew nothing about the people I talked about earlier, but y'all know about current events, okay? Kim Kardashian and y'all know Kanye West have been going back and forth with it, and everyone is acting as if Kanye West is bad guy Chun-Li and that Kim Kardashian was innocent all along. And no, because Kim Kardashian, as we know, her and her family seem to have a fetish for black men, and they are very obsessed with black people and black culture, but they do not like them. They have so much anti-blackness within them. Everyone seems to think that she's extremely innocent when it comes to her and Kanye's marriage, and that's just not the case, because there is so much evidence on top of evidence and proof on top of proof that that woman is anti-black. And no, I'm not defending Kanye. No, bye, no. I'm just saying, people tend to paint her as the victim when it comes to Kanye, but this is not a relationship. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes? And I'm not buying that entire thing about her being innocent and him doing all the terrible things because of her history of how she treats black people. Yes, we can bring up that Kanye was not good to her, but we also need to acknowledge that she is very anti-black. Now, what the actual fuck does all of this have to do with film and fandom? Because it is a repeat of the same things in different forms, okay? You know how they say history repeats itself? A lot of this bullshit that we have learned about in history class is repeating itself in not only the film industry, in the movies, but also in fandom. Fandom is supposed to be a fun place where people come together and enjoy a piece of work or a person or just pretty much anything. There literally can be a fandom for anything, okay? There's a fandom for luxury fashion, okay? It's so amazing. But if you guys look back onto almost everything in this world, there is some kind of racism or anti-blackness in it, okay? Fandom fandom has become a very, very racist place. And people don't seem to take it seriously because fandom is not that deep. Yes, I agree, fandom is not that deep and people shouldn't take it so seriously and find other hobbies within their lives and not let fandom ruin them. But racism in any place is not a good thing. No form of racism is not that deep. Racism is racism, and if it's bad here, it is bad there, okay? Racism in a school system is just as bad as racism in the food industry, okay? Just because one form of racism is a lot worse than another doesn't mean that there doesn't need to be attention brought to it. Racism is racism, period, okay? It's just as ass, it's just as terrible, and we need to acknowledge it so we can fix it, okay? Nobody wants to go anywhere where they feel like they don't belong because of the color of their skin. Like, I remember I literally got called the N-word by somebody in the Star vs. the Forces of Evil fandom. You can't do anything. It's never just racism. And a lot of people don't seem to understand how bad that is. Okay, there's racism in a kid's show. It's not that deep because it's just for kids. Yes, it is. Racism is bad everywhere. Today, we will be talking about fandom racism again for like the 1,000th time, alright, okay? And how people in fandoms defend white women for their actions when they are extremely in the wrong, and also how a lot of television shows and films and movies just reek white woman tears. Plenty of times in fandom, we already noticed that fictional women of color get treated than fictional white women, okay? It's a proven fact numerous times. Y'all say we are making this shit up. No. There's proof on top of proof on top of proof that will prove this. A fictional white woman can do something so terrible and there will still be somebody defending her ass for being wrong. And notice it's not saying that you cannot like said white fictional character. You can. You're free to like any fictional character that you want. But to sit there and defend them for their wrong actions is not the right thing to do. A lot of my favorite fictional characters are white women. When they are in the wrong, I don't defend that for them. I'm like, nah, girl, you did that. Get out my face. You were wrong. I still support you, but no, you were wrong. Just that simple. Now let's get into this discussion about white woman tears, okay? Here I'm gonna sit here and read a short little insert from this article and then I will be back. Crying, being visibly upset, or stating that one is upset is a strategy used by white women when they feel at threat of being perceived as racist or accused of racism. These strategies can be called moves of innocence. They are emotional responses in which part related to white fragility or the fact that white people's ability to endure racial tension is very low. Not having to think about race or think about themselves as racialized renders white people fragile to these conversations, as opposed to people of color who grow up and live seeing themselves through the eyes of white people. Plenty of times when it comes to white woman tears, it's not even about racism. It's them using their white womanhood to get them out of trouble, or at least attempt to. Like, you know how we see those videos of Karens disrespecting young white people that are working in retail and food service, and when the young white people tell them that they are wrong, they pull out their white woman tears and act like they are the victim. White women are aware of their white privilege and they use it to their advantage, commonly through gaslighting and also playing the victim. Not only do white women use this tactic on people of color, they also use it on their own. Like I mentioned earlier, the amount of times white women have used white women tears on young white retail workers, all these videos that go circulating around the internet with Karens, 9 times out of 10, not 9 times out of 10, I say 5 times out of 10, half the time the person will either be a person of color or will be somebody white. It's literally just an entire cycle of mess, okay? Here I want to use an example from Disney's Descendants, because Disney's Descendants really had a white woman tears problem, and it just has a white supremacy problem in general. But also with Descendants, I am going to compare the situation to the one that is going on right now in the current season of Euphoria, because it's literally the same thing. Mal uses her white womanhood as a way to get away with all the wrong that she has done. Not only does she use this on her enemies, she uses it on her friends, and then she also uses it on her boyfriend, who is now her husband. Yes, I'm still salty that they got married. She fucked up so many times and she did not suffer for any of the consequences of her action. She absolutely loves to play the victim when she is treating people horribly. Mal is one of the worst kids on that island, and her whiteness has a lot to do with why she got picked to go move to Oregon and attend Oregon prep. Like, it's not even just whiteness, it's just a colorism situation, okay? Because not one dark-skinned person was chosen to go to school. The darkest one was Celia, and she is not that dark, y'all. Now, moving on from Descendants, we gotta bring up Miss Euphoria. I am tired of Cassie's Howard bitch ass, okay? I can't stand her anymore. I'm ready for Natty to beat her down because I can't no more. I'm just tired. I can't do it anymore. Cassie, you know that meme where it was like, it was like, just when I think you couldn't get worse, you do. That's exactly how I've been this entire season, and I'm pissed because Cassie was one of my favorites last season, and now she's like the person I honestly dislike the most. No, I still dislike Cal and Nate the most over Cassie, but she up there. Also, just keep in mind, this is not my niche on this channel, but this is just a really strong point that I want to include and bring up because it's just something that really has been getting on my damn nerves lately when it just comes to white woman tears, and I just can't leave it out. Because this is how the topic of white woman tears came up in the first place, because of Cassie fucking Howard. And you want to know what Cassie Howard did? Basically, she was sleeping with her best friend's ex-boyfriend. Her best friend being Latina Maddie Perez. The thing about Maddie's ex-boyfriend is that her and him are extremely on and off, on and off. Every time they break up, they usually get back together within a week's form, okay? She's her best friend. She knows all her business. She is pretty much aware of how her dynamic with Nate is. Not only is she aware of how Nate and Maddie are extremely on and off, so what if they broke up and we're gonna get back together? You don't fuck your best friend's ex. Like, girl code. Do you need to learn it again? Like, that's not even just using white woman tears. That's just being a bad friend. So, what do you know? When Rue tells Maddie what Cassie has done, she tries to flip the script and gaslights Rue and Maddie and says, why do you believe her? She's a drug addict. Maddie straight up asked, when did this happen? She said, after New Year's, and next thing you know, Cassie wants to cry.
Let's just talk. Oh, you're crying?
No.
You're fucking crying,
Maddie.
fucking bitch. You're
Maddie,
the one who's
come on.
hurt. You're the most self-centered, idiotic person I have ever fucking met. You fucked my ex, and you're fucking crying?
And I found this so freaking hilarious because when she started crying, Maddie called her out and was like, why the fuck are you crying? You're the one in the wrong. She started crying, thinking that that was gonna get Maddie to feel bad for her, and it didn't. Cassie used her white woman tears on so many people in this series, okay? She used them on McKay. And you know how black men are. That's a whole nother type of another discussion. He's not even in the show no more, so we're just gonna exclude McKay. We're gonna just talk about white woman tears that Cassie has used for this season, okay? She has used her white woman tears on Nate. She has used her white woman tears on her sister Lexi, and she also used that shit on her mom. It's so funny when the people that she used her white woman tears on this season, one was half black and then the other is Latina, okay? And before anybody tries to get into this, I'm not about to sit here and debate with you guys about Alexa Demi's race, but it's obvious that she is not all white. Just look at her, okay? I don't know what she is, but it's obvious that she is mixed. I'm really starting to think a lot of y'all not around a lot of people of color, because y'all been thinking anybody white. And because of how emotional Cassie was in that scene, Cassie's honestly just a big ass crybaby. I'm gonna just go ahead and say that. It's okay, I'm a crybaby too. I cry over everything, okay? People were still running to her defense and defending her. They were like, oh, she's so weak, she's so poor, oh my god, I have to come to her defense, I have to save her. Maddie was wrong, Rue was wrong, and yes, Rue was wrong, but also, if my best friend was sleeping with my ex or my boyfriend, I would want to know. I'm sorry, nah, I would rather know. I'm glad she told her, okay? Even though she did that to get herself out of that horrible situation, she deserved to know. And what makes it so worse is that, like, yeah, if you want to defend Cassie, whatever, okay? But she literally did the worst thing of the worst. It's not like she sat there and tongue kissed Nick Jacobs. She literally fucked him. She literally laid with him. She literally had full on sexual intercourse with him. In the bathroom. Ew. It was, ew. What she had done is extremely wrong, okay? It's okay to admit if she's your favorite character. She is in the wrong. But this is something that she shouldn't be defended for, okay? Yes, Nate is extremely wrong too in this situation. I'm not sitting here and putting all the blame on Cassie because it takes two to tangle. She willingly slept with him, okay? He did not force her to do anything. All she had to do was hop in that car and get a ride with him and then leave, okay? She did not have to go up in the bathroom and sleep with him. She willingly did that, okay? People tried to make an excuse saying that she did it when she was drunk. No, she willingly did it again when she was sober. Now we are moving on to Miss Miraculous Ladybug, okay? If you don't want to see this part of my video, because I know a lot of y'all complain about me making too much Miraculous Ladybug content, just skip it. Just skip it. Just stop it. Like, no one's forcing you to stay. I know y'all get tired of me talking about Miraculous, but there's a lot of things in this show that need to be talked about because this show has a lot of issues and it needs to be talked about by not just white people. Because, Miraculous' way of using white woman tears doesn't actually have the white women crying, but more of whining and complaining and trying to get people to feel bad for them. Like, I cannot. I love Natalie. Y'all know she's my favorite character, but she tried to use her white woman tears on the audience to explain to us why she is doing this shit for Gabriel. And I'm like, girl, no, you are wrong. You literally committed domestic terrorism with this man. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. I love you, Natalie, but girl, bye, no.
I'm confident it'll only strengthen our agreement in the end.
It's true. Things aren't going as planned. For me either. There's no point in waiting for your father, Adrian. I should never have taken this job. It's too much sometimes.
Okay, girl, bye.
Bye.
Your white woman tears didn't work on me. Natalie is my waifu, okay? That's my bitch right there, okay? But she is wrong as fuck in this show, okay? And she attempted to use them white woman tears on us once, and I was like, bye. No. Get. To be honest, we really aren't sure if Natalie is white for the most part. Her race is still pretty ambiguous when it comes to the show's team. They never confirmed what her race is exactly, because I do believe that that Natalie is half Chinese like Marinette, because one, her character mirrors Marinette, and they also do look very similar. So I am convinced, I'm pretty sure, this is just what I think Natalie is half Chinese, but she is also half white in the same sense, and she is using her white privilege to try to make the audience feel bad for her. Girl, get. Also, one thing a lot of people, this is just a side note when it comes to that, a lot of people don't seem to get that biracial people are still technically white people. They're literally half white, and a lot of them do use their white privilege and also their white woman tears to try to get out of things. So yeah, like Natalie, you literally committed domestic terrorism for that raggedy ass man. Do better. Get up. Now we gotta talk about Emily Agreste and Miss Chloe Bourgeois. Somebody asked me could I make a video defending Chloe, and hell no. Like, absolutely fucking not. She is racist. What I'm about to sit here and do and defend a racist? What I look like doing that? And not only is she a racist, she's literally abusive. Like, no. I'm not a Chloe fan at all. I didn't care for her show in season 1. In season 2, when I saw she was starting to get redeemed, I was like, it's alright. Season 3 made me dislike her even more. In season 4, I'm just ready for her to be gone. I don't care about Chloe's character. I don't care if she gets written out at this point. I simply just don't care for her, nor do I like her. And just because I don't like Chloe doesn't mean that y'all have to dislike Chloe, okay? It's okay. We're allowed to like and dislike different fictional characters. Chloe is annoying, but her stands have honestly made me dislike her the most because a lot of them play into her white woman tears. I am pretty sure that Chloe uses her white woman tears more than anybody else in this show, alright? Whenever she don't get her way, she whines and complains. No. Literally, it's Karen in the making. Like, do y'all think if Chloe was a girl of color that this shit would be happening? No. But there are 2 major times in this series where she used her white woman tears, and I kid you not, there were still motherfuckers out here defending her, okay? One, we're gonna bring up that thing from season 3, okay? She literally committed domestic terrorism, putting numerous people's lives in danger. Not even just numerous people's lives, a good chunk of the population in Paris. And not only did Chloe commit domestic terrorism once, she did it twice. I'm pretty sure she did it another time too, but these are like the 2 major times when she has done it. Marinette, who is Ladybug, saw that Chloe was not a good fit for her team. Chloe simply did not want to be a superhero because she cared about helping people. Chloe wanted to be a superhero because she loved the attention that it gave her. If Chloe being a superhero was going to make her more famous, she wanted that, okay? She's already pretty much kind of famous because she is the mayor's daughter and she is the daughter of a famous fashion blogger. Now, she's not a blogger, fashion magazine. It's pretty much the same shit now in this day and age, alright, okay? She's already pretty famous because she's a nepotism baby, but her being a superhero, she know that would make her brand look even better, okay? She didn't become a superhero because she actually cared about people. She did that shit for a selfish reason. And she threw the biggest tantrum because Marinette, who is Ladybug, when I refer to Ladybug, I just call her Marinette because it's literally the same person, okay? When Marinette saw through her bullshit, she was like, I don't want to work with you no more. I don't want to work with somebody like this. And then next thing you know, Chloe starts telling Marinette that she is wrong for not giving her what she wants.
Utterly poorly chosen! I'm sorry, Chloe, but I can't let you do that. Well, if that's the way it is, I'm no longer your fan, Ladybug. I don't love you anymore, and I'm still going to leave with Mommy anyway because you don't deserve to breathe the same air I do.
And people, and when I say people, I mean people who watch this show, her fans defended her for that reason. No, they literally defended her because somebody stood up to her and didn't give her what she wanted. People love to find every little excuse they can to defend this bratty, abusive child. They do everything to defend this brat's action, okay? Chloe is literally a disrespect to the Chloe Bratz doll. How are you gonna be named Chloe and you're also gonna actually be a brat? Like, no, don't do that. Yes, I am aware that Chloe has a terrible mother. Okay. That's all y'all got to say about that shit right there, okay? We are aware that Chloe has a terrible mother, okay? But that can only explain so much. That only does so much, okay? Just because you are being hurt, just because you are being abused, that does not give you the right to hurt others. It gives reasoning, it gives explanation for why you're doing what you're doing, but it's still wrong. Like, I'm pretty sure that somebody has hurt Natalie in her past life before she started doing all this shit for Gabriel, and that's why she acts the way she does. It gave me reasoning, but I'm not gonna sit here and defend her for that because she still is wrong. Marinette was not wrong at all for dropping Chloe, okay? If anything, she did the right decision. I know it is hard to stand up to somebody that intimidates you. I know it is hard to stand up to somebody that bullies you. Chloe is Marinette's bully. Why the fuck would she want to work with her, okay? And not only that, Chloe not only bullies Marinette, she also bullies the entire class. She's mean as hell to everyone, okay? Why would you put somebody like that? Why would you put somebody's life in her hands, okay? If you're gonna be a superhero, if you're gonna be on the team, your job is to protect people. Okay, I don't want to work with somebody like that. And the thing about it is that while she did have the miraculous, she already showed her ass by putting so many people's lives in danger. Marinette can't risk that happening again. And later on in Miss freaking Queen Banana, when Marinette's class was making a movie, she was being the biggest bitch of all time simply because they weren't giving her what she wanted. She wanted to be the lead role. They were like, okay, whatever. She kept changing up the script because she didn't like it. They were like, okay, whatever. She kept complaining about every little last thing, and when they needed her ass to come on set to shoot, she didn't want to do it. So you want to know what they did? They went and filmed a movie without her, as they should. They all had a valid reason for not wanting to work with her on that shit. She stood there and played victim when she found out what her classmates did, as if she wasn't the one in the wrong. If you actually cooperated and was working with everyone and was actually being a decent human being, you would have still been in the movie, man. Now moving on to Chloe and now Emily Agreste. This situation of white woman tears right here, it's more of the audience, the viewers of the show, than the show itself, okay? But the show does play a little bit into this, so we are gonna get into that detail. If you don't know who Emily Agreste is, Emily is basically the reason why all the fuckery in the show goes wrong, okay? I remember I saw this TikTok and it was like, if you think of every little problem in the world her name is like Hoochie, but she was like, you think of every little problem in this world, it will all come back to one white person standing there looking stupid. That's literally this show. All the shit that is going on, when you think hard enough and clearly enough, a lot of it either comes back to Gabriel or Emily. Or Jagged, depending on what you're doing. Or Audrey. Anyway, all them people work. But the entire discussion behind Emily Agrest's character is extremely frustrating because so many of these discussions lack nuance. Oftentimes, when we found out a horrible white man or just a terrible man in general, as I mentioned Kim Kardashian and Kanye West earlier, Kanye West is a black man. Y'all know Khloe Kardashian and her drama that be going on with Tristan Thompson, okay? They were involved with black men, but people seem to paint the white women out as the victims of these people. It's not just white men in general, it's just men in general that I see this happen with. But more than often of times, I see it a lot more with white men. When a woman is in a relationship with said terrible man, people act as if she is extremely innocent and the man is just in the wrong completely. They act as if this woman can do no wrong and that it is just the man who is at fault. And that is not always the truth, okay? Emily's whiteness, whether people don't want to admit it or not, has a lot to do with why the audience sees her the way they do. Many a times when you ask people, how do you feel about Emily Agrest, or you see a lot of their takes on her, they assume that she's just a pretty nice mom and she really cared about her son, but she ended up falling ill and they're trying to do what they can to bring her back. That's literally what they want you to think, but when you actually sit there and pay so much attention to her character, so much shit doesn't add up. People assume that Emily is a nice, sweet woman because of the way the show shows her, okay? When we see her in the coffin, she looks peaceful, she has a smile on her face, she has blonde hair, very light skin, because like I said, all white people are light skinned. And also when we do see other pictures of her around the house, she is seen to be as very gorgeous, very beautiful. And we even do see a picture of her with her family, and we see a picture of her with her son. Plenty of people in this fandom, and not just the fandom, just viewers of this show in general, they are so stuck on the fact that it is just Gabriel who is terrible to their son that they had together named Adrian. People love to say, oh, she hasn't spoken yet. We haven't really seen her do anything, so we really can't make assumptions about her, okay? And a lot of why people defend her when people bring up the weird fishy things about this woman has so much to do with her appearance. Like I said earlier, she is a skinny white woman, and when they do show her in that coffin, she has a smile on her face. When we see that portrait of her in the home, she looks like she's done up pretty nicely, okay? The show wants you to think that she is innocent. But if you actually pay close attention to details when her character is brought up, so much about her makes no sense. Emily looks as innocent as possible, air quote, by society standards. But there's so much suspicion about her, and I'm just gonna sit here and read the list word from word. One, them weird ass rings, okay? Them weird ass rings are her family rings, okay? Those aren't Gabriel's rings that he created. Those came from her bloodline, her kin. Also, moving on to the next point, she didn't let Adrian have freedom either. She is another person next to Gabriel who didn't even bother to ask Adrian if this is what he wanted to do with his life when it comes to acting and modeling and being a freaking influencer and public figure. Did they ask their kid if he wanted to be in the public eye? No. She is friends with Audrey Bourgeois. And here's a clip of her.
By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Oh, good, you're married. Now get out. Change schools? Ugh, forget it. We need to change cities.
She was alive when Adrian was getting that damn pen for his birthday. You are rich as fuck, and you are getting your son a pen for his birthday. Ma'am, I'm sorry, the camera shook. I got mad. This show loves to throw out that Emily was a famous actress. No, the fuck she wasn't. She only been in one movie that you can't find nowhere, and you want to know who produced it? Her family. Her family is fishy. She is fishy. So much about Emily is not making sense, so we have every right to have our guard up around her. What could you have been doing for the Peacock Miraculous to break, okay? Because literally, Miraculouses break if you are using them for wrong. That is why Marinette took Chloe's Miraculous, because she kept using it for bad, and sooner or later, that shit was gonna break, okay? What could you have possibly be doing with that Miraculous for it to break? And also, another main reason that we can have our guard up about Miss Emily Agreste, she's married to fucking Gabriel, the main villain of this series. Is that not ringing a bell to anybody? Her appearance has so much to do with why people just ignore everything wrong with her. They choose to ignore all the suspicion that revolves around her character. Literally all this shit happened because of her. Yes, it is sad that she is in a coma, alright? But as this show tried to make us feel bad for her, seeing her in this state, there's just so much evidence that prove that she could be just as bad as Gabriel. And the biggest piece of evidence there to that is that she's married to Gabriel. To wrap this all together, the entirety of White Woman Tears is that society has this idea that even when a white woman is in the wrong, there is still some part of her that is innocent for why she did what she had done. Plenty of people assume that white women are innocent simply because of the way they look, because of the racial biases that are forced upon us. Now I'm going to read you guys this quick insert from that same article that I had mentioned earlier. White woman's tears act as a shield against accusation of white privilege. The white woman's tears work both for the white woman and against the person who is making her uncomfortable, usually a person of color. In this way, their function is twofold. First, they recenter the white woman through her emotions and create feelings of empathy and compassion for the white woman. Consequently, race and racism are no longer the focuses, the white woman's emotions are. After Mary Beard made her emotions visible, many people showed support for her and called for those who engaged with her to be more compassionate. As a black woman, we are told from a very young age that we shouldn't do anything that brings attention to us, negative attention specifically. Like I remember when we would go on field trips, teachers would always push this thing telling us, don't act up or you're gonna get in trouble. And it wouldn't even be acting up for the most part. I remember that somebody could simply giggle in line and they would get yelled at because the teacher said, oh, you're making me look bad. You're acting out. Be quiet. Like, a lot of black children are told that we need to be seen and not heard. And people just act as if an energetic black child is dangerous. Simply because we are judged by our appearance, okay? Like, seeing how white women use their privilege as an advantage to get what they want is extremely frustrating, because I know damn well when I walk in a room, I am a visibly black woman. My race is one of the first things that people notice about me. And so many people who still have not done their part to unlearn a lot of their racist behaviors, they're already gonna sit there and assume negative things about me. Like, I absolutely can't freaking stand when I need to go to the beauty supply store to get some things that I need to take care of myself. As I say, I have to go to the beauty supply store to get my braiding hair. I have to go to the beauty supply store to get hair products for me, because the products that are there at department stores and at Walmart and Target and in general, even on websites, a lot of them are extremely expensive and I need something cheaper. So I go to the beauty supply store, and it really just hurts how I get shunned upon coming in here. I get looked at, I get followed around, I have people looking right at me and whatever. It's just very frustrating when that happens, because like I said, I know I'm already being judged from walking in the room. This person knows nothing about me. They don't know my life. They don't even know my name. They don't even know if I have money. They assume that I'm just gonna come in there and they need to keep their guard up because they think I'm gonna do something wrong. Like, it's very heartbreaking, okay? So many black women have stories like this of when they go to the beauty supply store and they're being followed around. It's just very sad. And it makes it just sad, but it also makes me extremely angry how when white women are clearly in the wrong, they will still try to do exactly what they can to try and be innocent. Like, I have seen white women get caught stealing at Target before, and they try to explain to security why they needed to take what they needed to take. I'm like, girl, I know times are rough out here, but you got caught. It's just extremely frustrating because they just do as they please. And I and many other just women of color, not just black women, we literally have to do what we can to prove that we are not an issue. And we have to make ourselves smaller. We have to make ourselves look more innocent. We basically just have to do things that we know won't bring negative attention to us, or it'll cost us badly. I hope you guys enjoyed this video that I put together about white women's tears. I've been working on it for like the last 2 days because this is just a topic that I really have just been wanting to explore for the most part. I did so much research on it, and yeah, this is something that I find extremely interesting. Have there been any times in your life where you just felt like you had to watch every little thing you have done? This is specifically for women of color specifically, or just non-men of color. Like, y'all, has that ever happened to you? I'm just so curious to where you feel like you have to do everything you can not to be seen in a negative light, but white people get away with so much mess, specifically white women, and we're just over here like... Leave a comment down below how you felt about the entire situation that revolves around white woman tears, okay? If there's another television show out here that is a good example of white woman tears, leave a comment down below. I would like to know about it, okay? If you guys like this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up and make sure to follow me on everything at Harriyanna, HARRIYANNA. If you would like to donate, I have a Ko-fi and a Buy Me a Coffee. Links will be down below. You guys are interested in joining my Patreon. Extensive tiers, $5. The cheapest is $1. Link to that will be down below. Also, what else do I need to say? I also have merchandise. I have new things that I am working on that is coming to my store at harriyannahook.com. If you guys want to support me for free, you can watch my web series called The Progenies. Hopefully we can have some new episodes coming out soon. When they get edited, they're gonna get edited, okay? If you guys want to support me for free in another way, just follow me on everything at Harriyanna, HARRIYANNA. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good night.
'Cause I work hard to get to this point in my life. I'm blowing up, so don't hate, just congratulate.
The Powerpuff Girls will just blow your mind. Buttercup like villains 3 at a time. Bubbles will smile while kicking your butt, and Blossom will lead them out of their rut. Cherish and Powerpuff, 2 of a kind. Both wanna save the world before bedtime. From Townsville, Memphis, New York to LA, the Powerpuff Girls are just here to stay. They coming through and fighting, and everyone they shocking. You know no one can stop them all because of the chemical X. They coming through and fighting, and everyone they shocking. You know no one can stop them all because of the chemical X. They coming through and fighting, and everyone they shocking. You know no one can stop them all because of the chemical X. They coming through and fighting, and everyone they shocking.